All right. We made a video of Jake telling about his hardest part in Macy's death. So now we're here with cousin Maddy, who was kind of like a big sister to Macy, to talk about what her hardest part was. So, what do you think the hardest part was?
It was probably, like, she would stop breathing for, 30 seconds. And then she would just, breathe, terribly.
Yeah, she would take a big deep breath.
Yes.
And do you know why that was at the end? Those were called agonal respirations. So it means like her brain was really shutting down. And that's when just like your brain stem takes over, which is like the center of your brain where it's like it really tries to keep you alive. It's like a last ditch effort to keep you alive. So her body was like, I'm done. And I have to believe that like her soul was already like in heaven.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that she was really there anymore. But I know it was hard to see her take those agonal breaths, and it was hard for me too. And I've seen that before as a nurse. But seeing somebody you love take those agonal breaths is really hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, right before she passed, in those last minutes, she was taking those agonal respirations, and so she would stop breathing for a little while, and then she would take one big gasp. And that, like I said, is the body's last-ditch effort, like the brain's last-ditch effort to try and save itself. So it was just her brain just automatically saying, we need to drop your jaw down, and your lungs need to take a big, deep breath, and we need to try to get some oxygen in here. And so that's what her body would automatically do. And that wasn't her thinking that she needed to take a breath or anything. Like, I think her soul was already gone to heaven, but it was just her body saying, uh-oh, what's happening here? We need to take a breath. And it would like force her body to take a breath. But those agonal respirations can look kind of scary.
Yeah. And I think the other hardest part was probably watching her sats go all the way down.
Yes. Yeah, that was hard too, huh?
Yeah.
So there at the end, like right before she passed, we noticed her getting very blue. And I forget exactly why we put the pulse ox on her, but Josh...
I think it was because she stopped breathing for like a minute, and then we put the finger thing on her, and then
she was still taking some breaths, and I was thinking, you know, we should get some oxygen on her just to help make her comfortable. So I told Josh, like, why don't you go get the oxygen? And it was Josh who wanted to put the pulse ox on her too. And for me, that was kind of hard because I didn't know if I wanted to see the number on the pulse ox. I knew it wasn't going to be good. But I think Josh still had that hope that like she was still breathing good enough. I think he says that he was in more denial than we were. And like for some reason just didn't believe that those were the last moments. Like his brain just wouldn't let him believe that. So he wanted to get the pulse ox, and we put that on her. And it was, what number was it at?
It was like 69, and it dropped all the way down to 0.
Yeah.
And her heartbeat was like doing good until it hit 0, and then it wouldn't read.
Yeah. So that was hard for all of us to see that. Josh had put the pulse ox on her, and he went to get the oxygen. Well, he got the oxygen, and he went to get the
like the medicine. Right?
He went to get more medicine, and while he was out of the room, her sats dropped all the way down to 0. Like slowly went down all the way to 0. And so we told your dad to run and get Josh. And so he ran out there and got Josh and said, you need to come now. And Josh, he says he was like, I'm trying to hurry and get the medicine. And he was getting the the water for the oxygen too. And we were like, no, like, leave it, drop it, just come, because she's gone. Like, we think she's gone. And so he came in.
And then they were back up to where they need to be for her.
Yeah, which was crazy. Which was crazy. She had stopped breathing and lost her heart rate while he was out of the room. And I put my head to her chest and did not hear a heartbeat. And she was not taking any breaths, and she was obviously very blue.
Yes.
And so I said, she's gone. And Josh came in the room, and I said, she's gone. And that was really hard for him, especially with him being out of the room. And I handed Macy's body over to Josh, so he could say goodbye and hold her one more time. And he was like, he had her up close to him, like hugging her and loving on her and crying. And then he was like, I don't think she's gone. And I was like, oh dear God, what kind of denial is this? Like, I was like, I think she's gone, Josh. Like, I just kind of felt bad for him in that moment, that like he was in that much denial that like she was still alive. But he was like, no, really, I think that she's still breathing like normally, and she has a heart rate. And I was like, no. And then I looked at her and I saw her chest rising and lowering again, taking normal breaths again, not even like the agonal respiration. She was like taking normal breaths again. Her color started pinking up again, and we were all like, what the heck? So Josh was like, all right, put the pulse ox back on her. And so we put it back on.
Yeah, because we took it off.
Yeah, because we did not want to see it. When it dropped down to 0, we were like, we don't want to see that. So he was like, put it back on her. So we put it back on her. And sure enough, her stats were 85%.
Yeah.
And her heart rate was, what, 110s?
Yeah. It was like 119.
Which is like normal for her, which was like good for her. Yeah. And we were like, oh my gosh, she couldn't leave when Daddy wasn't in the room.
Nope.
She had to like hang on. She came back for a minute so that Daddy could say bye to her. And, you know, we told her when we were explaining the whole situation to her that we would all be there. We would all be around her, and we would all love on her. And she was like, darn it, Dad wasn't in the room, so I couldn't leave yet. So she hung on for a little bit longer. And then she started having those agonal respirations again. And then that's when she finally passed. And it was 1:47 a.m. when she took her last breath. But, yep. So it was all kind of crazy.
It was. Because after Uncle Josh came back in the room, she was, like, breathing normally for, like, 10 to 20 more minutes. And then the other breaths were, like, there for, like, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And so it was a long...
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in a way, it was kind of a relief when she finally let go, because we knew it was time, and I didn't want to see her struggle anymore. So, as like devastating as it was, I was also thankful when she like finally let go. And we just kept telling her too, like, you don't have to fight anymore, Macy. You can go. You can let go. There's no more fighting. Just go to heaven, fly free. And then she finally did. So, that was that. All right. Well, do you have anything else to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.